found a couple fruit snacks in my kitchen. They weren't in a case or anything. They were just kind of sitting there. I don't live well.
Ready? Go!
Izetta the Last Witch isn't exactly a bad show. It's not a good one either, but it deserves some kind of praise for what it does right. It has some of the most breathtaking scenes of animation from its season. Well, not all of it. Its story was engaging and held my interest throughout the whole endeavor. Well, not all of it. Its score has an amazing array of songs and tracks. Well, not all of it. You're beginning to see trend here, right? Izetta is a mixed bag of raisins. You have your perfectly normal raisins that taste like shit because they're raisins. Then there are the grosser, even drier raisins at the bottom of the bag that make you wonder why the fuck you bought a bag of raisins over everything else. But every now and then, there's a perfectly normal grape that makes you question how a raisin company fucked up the simple task of putting raisins in a bag. Similarly, you have to wonder how a show about a lesbian witch mustered the budgetary needs to come out with some of its more standout moments. This analogy is going to be lost on people. What I mean to say is what Izetta gets right, it gets right. The rest ranges from mediocre to just awful. Fun fact about me, I think being mediocre is just as bad as being complete shit. Ironic, isn't it? Izetta the Last Witch, in my humble opinion, is one of the most underrated shows of its season. Most people couldn't get past its Yuri undertones. And on several occasions, I've seen complaints about how unrealistic the show is. Like how historically inaccurate most of the anti-tank weaponry is. Did you get the memo? It's a show about lesbian witches in World War II. I don't think historic accuracy was the number one priority. And I can confirm this is World War II, despite Izetta's cunning cipher. I know what you mean when you say Germania. I'm smarter than the rest. Izetta is stupid. Get over it. If this were a smarter show, it wouldn't be about lesbian witches in World War II. Despite the fact Izetta isn't the brightest show, it still has its moments. The relationship between Izetta and her love interest, Princess Ultfin, was actually kind of endearing, even though nothing happened. I may have found myself rooting for the Izetta and Fine ship, but I can't overlook the fact that Fine is a very boring character. There are moments that allude to interesting personality traits, but for the most part she's just this hope is the strongest weapon Princess Leia stand-in. The villains don't garner real interest either. Most of them are just bad dudes and don't progress past anything more than being a bad dude, which is disappointing considering how much screen time they're given. The political side of Izetta comes off just as stupid, as military figureheads try to strategize with things like magic rivers, and foreign officials try to sort out the tactical benefits of allying with a witch. All of this is paced unevenly, with large time-consuming segments of moe slice of life, and by the end you're left wondering, wait, what about action scenes are the Last Witch's specialty? The desperate moments of soldiers in battle have you hyped when Izetta finally shows up and just wrecks shit. Scenes including aerial antics and dogfights are more often than not a visual treat that even the most prudent of viewers can say, yeah, that was pretty good. But scenes like this bring up a pretty big flaw. This show is pretty ugly. At the best of times, it can be pretty stunning. At the worst of times, it's at the worst of times. And I can't go on without mentioning the show's standout soundtrack from composer Michiru? Okay. For her apparent first time in anime productions, I'd say this is some good shit. Some real standout material. I would suggest seeking the soundtrack out separately if I could find it myself. If you're willing to shell out $20 to $30 on a physical CD from a poorly translated Japanese website, then I'd recommend it. Otherwise, it's a real shame because the pieces actually reflect the tones of the series. Wispy lyrics reflect the mystical nature of Izetta and magic, while the more instrumental pieces reflect the imperial wartime vibe of the show. Izetta's ending sums up the whole series. It was pretty shit and pretty hype at the same time.
Final results.
At the end of it, I can say the show's worth watching, but no doubt you've probably been turned off by Izetta's many flaws. At the very least, give the first 3 episodes a watch. They showcase some of the best action scenes I've seen in a while. They're really trying here, guys. I'm Dr. Shout, and I loved Izetta the Last Witch, but it was honestly pretty shit for the majority of it.